joined by Lipscomb head women's golf coach Shannon O'Brien. Coach, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Gavin.
Yeah. So how has your off season and summer been? And have you gotten to do much outside of coaching this summer?
Yeah, gosh. Well, we definitely did some recruiting. And then my kids, I have a 16-year-old daughter who's a pretty avid soccer player. She's a 2025 recruit. So her soccer took us a bit around the country. And then my son, who's 14, he too was pretty busy and we were hanging out with him as well.
Yeah. So how did you get into golf and yeah, how did you get into coaching college golf?
Yeah, great question. So I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, and
Hmm.
had just a lot of access to different courses. My mom and dad both loved to play, and so I got to tag along with them quite a bit and started out relatively young. It was technically the first sport I tried. And then when I was 11, pretty sure my math's right, one of my dad's really good friends was a teaching pro out in Phoenix or Scottsdale area. And he was doing a teaching instructional video. Back then it was a VHS. Have you ever seen one of those? Do you know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
And so they asked a few kids to be a part, and I had a relatively natural swing. So that was probably my first big break, if you will, in the golf world, was getting
Mhm.
to be a part of that teaching video.
Yes, you said you're originally from Phoenix, Arizona. I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona also. I now live in
You did.
Connecticut, but yeah, so what high school did you attend? And you grew up playing soccer, so did you play high school soccer growing up?
I did. I went to Shadow Mountain High School. It
Okay.
was in the PV school district. What school did you go to?
It's just a small school. It's called Borgade in Phoenix.
Yeah, very cool. So yeah, I played a lot of different sports, and in high school, I also got to do, gosh, three or four sports while I was there. But for me, soccer and golf and softball were my kind of three main focuses. Um, as I got more serious into soccer, I was a goalkeeper, which I started playing around eighth grade. And so it was probably my sophomore year where I really realized I wanted to pursue playing collegiate sports. At the time, soccer was the path I was on. My high school coach did try to get me to pursue golf in college as well, and I considered it. I played high school golf for 2 years, my junior year and senior year, along with club soccer and high school soccer. And then ended up getting the opportunity at the University of Arizona to play soccer as a goalkeeper my freshman or going into my freshman year. So it was offered my senior year
Yeah,
and decided
you
that.
just talked about how you attended the University of Arizona where you had, a very standout college soccer career. So were you recruited by the Wildcats? What was it like to play college soccer at
Yeah.
Arizona and represent the Wildcats?
Yeah, I was recruited to play there, and it was such a privilege. I loved my student athlete experience at Arizona. Growing up in Phoenix, my dad is an Arizona State grad, so there was a little bit of the house divide, if you will, by me choosing to go to U
Yeah.
of A. But yeah, I mean, Arizona has always had such a fantastic student athlete support system, both through what they call the CATS academic program, which is an acronym, but they were kind of on the forefront of providing the whole like holistic picture of having the SAC and having internships and career resources, tutoring, all the things that student athletes need in addition to students on campus. And I was just really impressed with what they had to offer their student athletes. So that was a big part of why I picked Arizona. But getting to play and represent the Wildcats was definitely just a special opportunity and a privilege. And I'm really grateful that I got to do that.
Yeah, family members that went to my cousin goes to U of A. I think he's a senior right now. And then
Cool.
also my stepsister went to Arizona State. So yeah.
Very cool. That's
Uh,
awesome.
what were some of your biggest accomplishments while playing soccer at the University of Arizona?
Man, for me personally, I came in as the backup goalkeeper my freshman year. So
Mhm.
I ended up earning a starting spot by my sophomore year, which was really, for me, an achievement and accomplishment. I was really, I guess, just grateful that I got the nod and got the look. It definitely came with airs. Like there's some funny stories, but I definitely had, just some, obvious mistakes that can happen as a goalkeeper. The goal's right behind you. And so there were some growing pains, through that journey. But I would say probably the greatest thing is I just was resilient. Like, kept trying. I kept working hard. I wanted to play to win, but I also wanted to do well, and I wanted to be a team player. And so looking back, I feel like for what I could achieve and what was available to me, I'm thankful that I was able to stay healthy and to play and earn the opportunities that I did.
So you were a goalie. That's quite a unique position. What drew you to being a goalie?
Man, I was a catcher in softball, so I wasn't afraid of the ball. I was pretty athletic just in my coordination, hand-eye coordination, and my ability to move laterally. And I wasn't afraid to throw my body on the ground. So in eighth grade, they needed a goalkeeper on the club team I was playing, and I was like, oh, I'll try, and ended up really enjoying it. I was also a field player. I played both left mid and goalkeeper all through high school, but spent most of my time as a goalkeeper. And once I went to college, I was a full-time goalkeeper. So I was a bit raw when I entered college just because I hadn't focused all my energy in that position. But I enjoy the pressure, to be honest. I enjoy the opportunity to, be in a role that's a little bit more unique. And like a quarterback or a pitcher, there's make or break moments. And I just really enjoyed the opportunity to be in that, role and to try to make a difference in pivotal moments.
So the Women's World Cup just ended. Did you get to watch any of that?
Yeah, I did. I watched almost all of it. Yeah, that was pretty exciting. And there's a handful of women who I've either had the privilege to play with, train with, or even who are now coaching that are a part of a lot of the different teams around the world. So it was also really cool and exciting to see them pursuing their dreams and goals and getting to participate in the World Cup this year. And the standard, like to see the women's game. And I would say this is true too in women's golf. Like it's just really neat to see the standard of women's sports growing and increasing, and the ability of all these different athletes. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, you were just talking about growing those two sports, and I think women's soccer and women's golf are definitely two sports that need to be grown. There needs to be
Yeah.
increased interest in it. So what do you think could be done to grow women's soccer and women's golf?
What do I think has been done or should be done?
What do you think can be done to grow women's soccer and women's golf?
I think we're seeing it in the juniors. We're seeing more opportunity for kids to get involved. And I mean, there's a lot to say about little kids getting to see these, grown women on TV. I mean, the media coverage that is now happening, for a little girl to be in the living room with her dad. Like I grew up watching golf on Sunday with my dad. We'd always watch, the championship final round. And I didn't see a lot of women on TV. Like I know they were there and there were times that LPGA was highlighted, but nowadays there's so many facets of getting to see, women playing professionally. And so I think as, for me, like my daughter, she's now looking and considering, do I want to play pro soccer? And it's a really viable dream. Like it's real that she can chase that and pursue that. And so I think now when we work with juniors, like the kids that are being able to see role models and people who look like them, talk like them, once did what they did. And so I think just continuing to grow the game is a great way to continue to increase just exposure and dreaming big dreams.
So you just told me you got back from the UK recently.
Yep.
What was
Sure.
that trip for? I think I saw you went with your team, and how was it going to the UK?
Yeah, it was awesome. So our team at Lipscomb, we have a really neat, it's really a program that's built into our college experience, but we have a whole mission department. And so Lipscomb is a faith-based school. It's a Christian university. And so our heart was to utilize golf as a platform to go and serve and to just be an encouraging light to anybody that we got to interact with. And so the heart of the trip was to go and use golf, but also to serve through, junior clinics and interact with people. Our host partner that had us there we wanted to serve them in any capacity they needed. And they happened to have this awesome garden that needed weeding. So we helped weed the garden one day. So yeah, there's an aspect where I think as student athletes, we're so busy a lot of the time. And all student athletes have an incredible platform. So to have space carved out to give back. And there's also something about, leaving the land, if you will, that you're familiar with, or the space you live or the school you attend, and to go abroad and to see and serve people who might sound different, or they don't look different, but they might sound different or speak a different language, or wherever that is in the world. It has a way of really, I guess, just growing your awareness that humans are humans, and getting to interact with people and to learn their story and to hear their journey, and to encounter people who are from technically a different walk of life, but are incredible. It just has a way of really just growing our minds, and growing our hearts, and growing our empathy, and strengthening our compassion, and holistically growing us as humans, and not just as athletes.
So you spent 9 years on staff with the Lipscomb women's soccer team. What were some of your roles and responsibilities with the women's soccer team? What was it like to be on staff of the Lipscomb women's soccer team?
Yeah, another cool just experience I got to have. I was the goalkeeper coach for those 9 years, one of the assistants. And uniquely, my husband's actually the women's head coach. And so, that was always a question and a joke of like, you guys still married? And we're like, yeah, we're doing great. But getting to coach, alongside of him, I actually have a ton of respect for him as a coach. He's had incredible success. He really modeled how to leverage just the niche that Lipscomb is, where we're a smaller university that has incredible academics with a really faith-centered culture. And so to play Division I athletics with that type of environment sometimes can sound like a paradox, where, how do we do the both? Like, how do we do both? And meaning play to win, play to compete hard, play in such a way that you garner respect, but also do it with integrity and a work ethic and an attitude and posture that cares about people, but beyond just what they're doing. And so getting to do that for the last 9 years on the soccer side actually really helped to equip me to be able to do what we're doing now on the golf side.
You got to work with Jessie Lawley, who's the current UAB head women's golf coach. While she was the head women's golf coach at Lipscomb, I interviewed Coach Lawley. So can you talk to me about Coach Lawley as a coach and as a person, and what she brings as a coach?
Totally. Coach Lawley is a really good friend. I call her J Dog. She'd probably call me Shan Dog. Got to coach with her for 2 years. She was the head coach. I was her assistant coach. She has the biggest heart. Like, she genuinely cares for her athletes. She is an all-in person. She really commits herself to the work and the people that she's doing life with. She's incredibly loyal. And so for me, getting to work alongside her, like I got to learn from her in a lot of ways. And, in that too, she would tell you I'm a lot older, which is true, but I'd say she's a bit older or younger than me. She always liked to tease me about being older than her, but in that, I got to mentor her too in some different spaces, and I just really valued her heart to learn, and her heart to soak up and ask questions and seek to serve her team in the ways that she could. So yeah, so I'm just really thankful for the time I spent with her, and the friendship that we also have. She's just got a huge heart.
In the spring of 2021, you pivoted to coaching college golf after 9 seasons with the women's soccer team. How has this transition been, going from soccer to now coaching golf?
Yeah, great question. So uniquely, being a goalkeeper, you're an individual on a team sport, where you have the pressure of the scoreboard immediate reflecting your play. You also have the pressure of make or break moments, maintaining concentration, saving shots, if you will, different things that quite honestly is pretty relatable, going from coaching goalkeepers to coaching golfers. So the transition for me wasn't crazy. Obviously, it's a different sport, but I have such a heart for encouragement and really helping players feel not only believed in, but to also breathe belief into them where they also believe in themselves. And I just am a believer that if you're confident, you're going to be able to reach new heights, right? Like I've seen super talented people, and sometimes I've even experienced where I might be more than capable, but if my confidence is lacking, you're going to see it in how I, behave or operate. And so shifting from coaching goalkeepers to coaching golf, it really wasn't all that different in the sense of coaching the person who was in front of me, because if I can help breathe encouragement and support into the golfer in front of me, they're going to swing more confidently, and then they're going to also be able to execute a play. I'm also not going to give them a hard time about a bad shot. I tease the girls all the time. I'm like, if anybody can have empathy for a bad shot, it's me, because I can hit the golf ball bad sometimes. So, I just have great empathy for them and the endeavor that they're seeking to achieve through golf. And, I'm a competitor. I love to win. I love to play to win. But I want to do it with integrity, and I want to do it in such a way where we feel encouraged and celebrated as a team and not just as individuals. So truthfully, it wasn't that crazy going from soccer to golf. The biggest change I'd say was soccer, the reaction sport. As a goalkeeper, you're reacting to a play and you're relying on, the people around you also to help stop a shot. Where with golf, you are, if you will, the sole controller of that shot. Obviously you can't control the reaction of the ball, how it bounces off the green, give or take the spin. If it hits a sprinkler head, if it hits something weird and kicks left, those are factors that affect the game in big ways. And so, being able to step in and just really meet the student athlete for who they are, not for what they're doing, was a space I've been really comfortable in, and just have such respect for what every golfer can do with a golf club, because it takes a lot of skill and a lot of time to be really good. And the girls that I'm getting to coach are really good. So that's been such a privilege to get to walk with them and journey with them and celebrate what they're doing. So yeah, in a nutshell.
What are some of the differences you've seen or noticed between coaching soccer and coaching golf?
Biggest difference is I have such respect for how long golfers are competing for. A soccer match is a total of 90 minutes if it's, regulation, so an hour and a half. If it goes into overtime, it's 120 minutes, and then maybe a shootout. Like for golfers, they are up at 5 a.m, if not, 5:30, and they're on the golf course warming up at 6:30, 7 o'clock, teeing off at 8. And if it's a 36-hole day, they're not coming off the course until 7 p.m., 6 p.m. if it's been relatively quick. And I just am blown away at the level of concentration and stamina that it takes to, maintain your composure, to maintain your concentration, to take each shot at a time, to keep, stick to your process. Like that takes a lot of brain energy. And so I would say that's a huge difference, like just the level of mental stamina that golfers have comparatively to most all other sports. Obviously, every sport has a mental stamina piece to it, and they're all respectful. But just the amount of time that golfers are on the golf course comparatively to most sports, that was the biggest change, and honestly pretty eye-opening when I got to step in. And the first tournament was a 36-hole day, and I told the girls, I'm like, I'm blown away that how long you've competed for. You've eaten your lunch literally on the middle of the walk on the course, and they're still at it, and they're doing a good job. And that's I just don't think many people realize how much time it takes and how long they're competing. And that alone is to be so respected, because it's pretty incredible what golfers do.
To preview the upcoming season, how does your team look going into the upcoming season, and what tournaments do you and your team look forward to?
Yeah, well, we look forward to all tournaments because it's an opportunity to play. Our team, we return everyone, but
Okay.
2 girls who graduated this last spring, or 3 girls actually graduated off the roster. But for the ones who competed in the ASUN championship, all but one returned to the roster this fall for that, which is pretty exciting. We've additionally added 3 new players. One is a transfer, that's a senior, and 2 freshmen, and all 3 just will contribute and add, to deepening the talent on this roster, which is also really exciting. They're also all amazing young women, so we're excited about just continuing the journey and enjoying it along the way. For tournaments, let's see here. We open with Golf Week at Pawleys Island, which is down at Caledonia's golf course. That's in is it 2 weeks? I think it's 2 weeks from today, September 8th. We'll travel out there. And then we will also then go to Missouri's event, University of Missouri, Mizzou. And then we'll travel back south down to Charleston's event, College of Charleston. That's at Edisto Island. And then we'll finish in Asheville, North Carolina, which is in the back end of October where the leaves are changing. And it's pretty beautiful to see the Blue Ridge Parkway. If you haven't, when the leaves are changing, it's pretty phenomenal. So I'd probably guess that's one of the tournaments the girls are really excited to be a part of.
You talked about your excitement level. So as head coach, are you excited for the upcoming season to begin?
Oh, totally. Yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, it was special for us to get to go to the UK for a week, which was just last week, to kind of, if you will, a preseason together. We had the privilege to go to St. Andrews and play over there, and that was a dream. And we all kind of kept looking at each other, like pinching ourselves, like this is real, this is happening. And so yeah, we're just one of the things we really focus and emphasize is to strive together. Like we really believe it's way more fun to win together, to encourage and celebrate one another, and not just have it be about one player or one person. Even as the coach, it's not about me. This is always going to be about them. And so I'm just excited to watch how this season will unfold and to celebrate them as people, and to also, celebrate the great shots and the not so great shots, because that's golf, right? And that's also how life is. So yeah, we're excited. We're excited to pursue chasing down another championship and continuing to, just step into the next opportunity that's issued to us.
So the final question I'm asking to all coaches is, what do you enjoy most about being the Lipscomb head women's golf coach, and what makes Lipscomb such a special place?
Great question. Gosh, Kevin, I would say what I enjoy the most about Lipscomb is just the opportunity to really encourage these young women and what they're pursuing in life, not just, with a golf club, but just in life in general. Majority of student athletes go pro in something other than their sport. And so I just uniquely, I really have a heart for spiritual formation. Lipscomb being a Christian school. And one of the other roles I had before stepping into golf was working as the director of spiritual formation for all of our female athletes. And so uniquely for me to get to use golf as a platform to encourage these young ladies, not only in life and sport, but also in faith, is unique. And it's special that I get to do that at a Division I university that also is a Christian school. And just to see lives, shift, where we all go through stuff. We all have a story. We all have things that affect us. Some great, some not so great. And so just to come along and meet them where they're at and to encourage them, as we're walking through life in this season together, I really consider a journey a privilege to witness their journey. And yeah, I would say that's a big why of why I coach, is just to support and encourage these girls. And then equally with that, that's part of what makes Lipscomb unique, is that we are a Division I university competing at the highest level, but we also believe there's a higher calling in that, meaning we get the opportunity to play for a purpose that's beyond us, as a Christian school, getting to look at life through the point of view that, okay, if God's true, and if God's real, and if God is a good God who loves us, which, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things in this world that make us question, but choosing through faith to see, wow, how does that then shape how we do this, and so to be able to encourage these girls to say, you matter, regardless of what you're doing with a golf club. I truly believe your life matters. I truly believe that you've, been created as a fellow image bearer of God, and we're all equal before the cross. And so how do we go about this life together, and how do we do it in such a way that we are pursuing supporting each other, encouraging each other, and really, seeking to see the joy in life, because there's a lot of hard things, that are in this life. And Lipscomb in a sweet way really desires to help people discover their talents, their giftings, how they're wired, and then to encourage them to step out into this world to make a difference, not because of just what God says, but because we genuinely believe that there's a purpose behind their life that's bigger than just the little things. Like there's a greater purpose. So getting to coach at a school that's like Lipscomb is special, and I'm really thankful for it.